Expert Empires community. Nick James here, hope you're well, and welcome to module number 5 of how to promote, fill and maximise profit from hosting your own live events. Today's module, happy Friday by the way, hope you're geared up to have a fantastic weekend. I'm looking forward to a weekend of golf and a bit of family time in the sun. What module 5 today is all about is event financials. So one of the many mistakes I see people make when they're running their own live events is they don't have a clear grasp on the financials ahead of time. So they don't calculate in advance how much is this thing going to cost to run, what are the different costs that we might have to consider, what are the different revenue streams that we might be able to exploit. And a mistake people make there is they often focus on just one or two obvious ones and leave a load of money on the table. So really what today is about is event financials. Now we are going to dig into this in more depth in the coming modules. We're going to look at a few of the additional revenue streams that people don't tap into and drill into those in a little bit more detail. But for today, I just wanted to give you a bit of a brief overview of how I do it. And it's quite timely really, because as you may have seen, we've just opened pre-launch on Expert Empire's underground event, which means people can start to express their interest and get their name on the VIP priority list so that when tickets go on sale, they get first chance to buy. So what I've also been doing today, as we're now clear on the logistics of the event, we know when it is, we know what venue we're using, we know who the speakers are going to be, etc., etc. Now I know that, I can start to project financials with a fair degree of accuracy. So I literally did this morning, and this is your exercise as a result of today, is to think about your next event or your first event, if you haven't done one before. Think about your next event and take out a spreadsheet, and you're going to create a list of, here are all the costs that I think we're going to have to consider, and specifically think about, worst case scenario, how much do you think each of those costs are going to be, and then look at all the revenue streams and worst case scenario, how much do you think you're going to be able to generate from each different stream? And so that is an exercise that I've done from day one. It was the exercise, it's probably the most valuable thing I've ever done in my business, which sounds hype and a bit over the top, but I'm telling you, back in January 2017, so about 18 months ago, maybe a little longer, I sat down and I had the opportunity to have Gary Vaynerchuk headline Expert Empires, but it was going to cost me 100 grand to have him cut. That's just his fee, by the way, not the total cost. Total cost of the event we're looking at being about 200 grand. So how can I risk or commit to spending 200 grand running an event? Well, quite simply, because I knew, having done this exercise of what are all the different revenue streams that we can exploit, and how much do we think worst case scenario we're going to get from tickets, and how much do we think we're going to get from sponsors, and how much do we think we're going to get elsewhere, back of the room sales, etc. I could predict with accuracy, like I was highly confident on like a 9.5 out of 10 that I was going to be able to generate a return on the investment of that 200 grand. And we're going to talk a bit about cash flow in modules that will follow this as well. But for today, I want you to do this exercise for your next event or your first event if you haven't yet run it. So question of the day really is, once you've done that exercise with some rough numbers based upon, educated guesses, I guess, is the best way to think about it. The question of the day is, how much profit do you predict you're going to make from your next event? How much profit, not revenue, how much profit when you take all the different revenue streams from ticket sales and sponsors and all these things, worst case scenario, how much profit do you expect you're going to be able to make from your next event? Hey Rich, thanks for joining us, good to see you. How much profit do you think you're going to make for your next event? So, it's Friday, hope you're going to have a great weekend. As I said, I'm really looking forward to a nice relaxing one, family time, got a golf game scheduled for tomorrow, hopefully the weather will be great. And over the weekend, we're not going to be doing any more modules, so the training will give you a good chance to catch up on the first 5 modules if you haven't seen modules 1 to 4 yet. They're all available in the units section of this Facebook group. One thing that I'd love to ask your help with Another question, which isn't the question of the day, but it's a question I'm asking you, is who else do you know that you think would really benefit from this training that we're delivering here in this group? Who else do you know that you think would really benefit from this training? And what I'd love you to do, don't like add them to the group if they haven't asked to be added to the group. But what I'd really like you to do is, if there's anyone in particular, or who in particular do you know that would really benefit from this training that we're running, all about how to promote and fill and maximise profit from hosting your own events, who else do you know that would really benefit from it? And I'd love you to reach out to them and just say, hey, I think you'd really benefit from being in this group. You can post on Facebook, share the link to the group and tag them in it, just suggest that they might think about joining. And then when they do join, we'll approve them and all that kind of good stuff. Because I'd really love you to help me spread the word and spread the message and get this training, which, your feedback's been great. It seems like everyone's really getting a lot of value out of it. I'd love you to help me spread the word and spread this training out to even more people. So, question of the day is, how much profit are you going to make from your next event? Now, Michael, I know you've just said in the comments, you really can't answer that yet. And I know you don't know for sure, but this exercise is critically important because it's going to help you make decisions about running the event. So think about, what do you think the costs might be? What do you think? Use a bit of logic, venue, AV, if it's a significant size event, all these things, put them all together. And then look at what are the different revenue streams you can think of, and worst case scenario. Because what you want to do, Michael, is before you really start, you want to know with confidence at like a 9 or 9.5 out of 10, like I did, that the event's going to be profitable. And wouldn't it be better to know in advance if it's not going to be profitable, if it's going to be a waste of time and a waste of money? Don't do the project. Sometimes not doing a project is more valuable or a better decision than doing one and losing a load of money. So this is something that I always do before every event I ever run, always have done, always will do. I suggest all of our clients do it too, and I'm suggesting you do, of course, as a result of today's training. So how much profit, when you do that calculation, how much profit do you conservatively estimate you're going to make from your next event? And then, of course, little bonus thing over the weekend, have a think about who do you know that would really benefit from this training that we're running here in the group, and I'd love you to spread the word and invite them in. In fact, Veronica, who will be watching this, why don't you post instructions on the thread about what they should do to help us spread the word about the group, if there's a specific way they should do that. What's the best way for them to do it without just adding people willy-nilly who might not want to be added to our group? What's the best way for them to do it? Veronica, please post in the comments below. So as you know, all the previous modules, all the previous training is available in the units section, as is the marketing materials, the templates that we've given as a free bonus for participating in the training. So get involved, have a great weekend, whatever you're up to. In fact, I'd love to hear what you're up to. I'm golfing tomorrow, really looking forward to it. Hopefully the weather will be great. Spending a bit of time with the family as well. It's a very golf heavy weekend because we're doing crazy golf with the kids on Sunday, actual golf with a few friends tomorrow. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you're doing this weekend. Enjoy the sun. Have a great one, and I'll see you Monday for module 6 of this training. Thanks very much.